There he is, there's Gordon, look.
There we are. All right, it was the first year that the club held a club challenge or championship, which was closed to members only, as you know. The idea of it was so that we could have a bit of fun, we could have a bit of a laugh, and I think we succeeded. Competitors had to nominate 7 rounds at the start of the year, with the best 6 to be counted, and everybody completed a minimum of 2 hills and 2 sprints. And I think from that success it went on and it worked. Tonight we got 3 driver awards, and that would be first, second and third, but they're by no means the only people that have succeeded in the challenge. There's been lots of successes along the way. One of them, for example, would be, speaking to him the other night, would be Paul Townsend in the Seat. He only managed to complete 1 round this year, and then it broke down on the final run and back on the trailer. So I questioned him and I said, well, you've had a couple of breakdowns, so how do you see it as a successful year? And he said, well, the previous year he had 8 breakdowns and an engine bay fire. So we all find success where we find the success. And some of the other notable drives that I've seen this year, from everybody really, but some of the ones that stick in my mind are, that impressed me was, one was Mikey Hall at WSHC. He'd been there the previous year and done a good time, and then he did another good time this year. And the times that he sat in his Clio, he shouldn't really be doing in that car, especially somebody that's virtually got no experience. He put a lot of us to shame, to be honest with you. Someone else that did an impressive run was Spuddy. Not so much on the run where he went off at WSHC, but on the following run, because I know from personal experience this year, once you've gone off, it's really, really hard to get back in the car and be back on pace, and he was back on the pace. Unfortunately for Spuddy this year, he only saw about half or 3/4 of the season, and he had to finish the season because he had a bit of a fall. And I'm going to set a rumour to bed tonight, because there's a rumour going round that it involved alcohol. It had nothing to do with alcohol, it was an age-related fall. Tonight, we're going to be very honoured, because we've got this man, Martin Ferris, who is feared and loved in paddocks all across the UK, and he's the 2017 Welsh Sprint and Hill Climb champion, and he's going to be presenting some awards for us tonight. So when he's ready, no rush, because I've got a bit more to say before they go out, but make your way down when you want. All right, Martin? Well, you didn't see that. No.
He got you all in one go. He didn't break down.
Yeah. Now, before we go any further, I'd just like to say, Martin didn't have a very good year this year. He had lots of breakdowns, whether they were mechanical or electrical, not quite sure. Neither's he. But in any case, we're really proud that we've got a champion coming up to present the awards, and the club would like to give him a small gift for helping out, on the condition that he opens it in front of you all. Now, seeing as his car's been out of action, it's either been on the trailer or in his workshop for probably 10 months. We're trying to get him something that will give him practical help for next season. And so, it's the wrong way up, you have to take my word for it. Martin's got a set of axle stands, because we figure he needs them more than the rest of us do. Not all the successes that we have when we're driving or we're competing are down to the drivers. And a lot of the success are the people who are behind the scenes that you don't get to see and usually don't get awarded. These are people like I call like my cable tie man, or if you prefer, your span man. Sometimes these can be drivers, other times they come along, they help, and they're the mechanics or whatever. But in our club, we've got quite a few people, but we had two in particular. Evan Bev was one, but because they've had to go home, so it's taken his. So the first that you're going to see tonight being awarded for mechanical assistance is Lloyd Bettison.
Thank you.
All right, so we come to the first of the driving awards, which is third overall. Won't keep it a surprise because we all know who's first, second, and third, don't we? Right? Gary is sat there at the back. You can see him. There he is. Gary's had a great year, and for the first half of the season or more, he was really the man to catch. Nobody thought they were going to catch him, to be honest with you. And in all honesty, he went quicker and quicker throughout the year, and towards the end of the season, he was absolutely flying. So I think it's fair to say that where he let himself down this year was by his nominations, because he nominated all the rounds at the start and none at the end. And I got a feeling if he'd nominated some at the end, maybe he wouldn't have been in third. He might have been in second or even first, but personally, me and Rob are both grateful that he didn't. People come to compete and they bring like different reflections on themselves. So they come with like a different attitude or a different approach. Gary always comes with a big grin on his face. Gary's all about fun and having a good laugh. People are different. Andrew Bisping, for example, who sat at the front here, when he comes to do an event, he'll bring a time log, a checklist, and a time and motion study for every aspect of what he's going to do. Whether it be putting the car on the trailer or taking it off, and he keeps all this in a big yellow book with faffing written on the front of it. Gary, on the other hand, he brings his spanners, and he, as I say, he brings his big smile. But I learned a lot from Gary this year. What I learned from Gary this year was that half of the success that you can have on the hill or the sprint is made in the workshop before you even arrive at the event. And Gary's car, when it arrived at the event, never wanted for anything. It was really, really well looked after, well maintained, and then well driven on the event as well. I can't remember the exact time because my head's gone with it now, but near the start of the season at Pembrey, Gary did on the old circuit, he did a time of, I think it was 123, is that right, Gary? Well, I think it was, yeah. It was either 122 or 123, which, if any of the rest of you have done it, you know what impressive time that is, and I think that's worth a round of applause by itself. We've heard quite a bit tonight about Shelsley Welch, and I was going to say that as far as I'm aware, Gary's the fastest man in this room to have been up Shelsley Welch, but I've just heard Keith say what time he's done up Shelsley Welch. So it's a little bit off that, but I'm sure you'll be impressed to see just how fast Gary went up Shelsley and how well driven it was. which is a little bit off Keith's time, just a little tiny bit, but still a really good run in itself. So, come on then, Gary. Third place, Gary Morgan. And then we come to second overall, okay? When I set out what to say,
He's a god!
when I set out what to say, I prepared for Gary, I prepared for Rob and what have you. Didn't have a clue what to say about myself, so I thought I need to ask somebody wiser than myself. The problem was, the only people I know to ask are in this room. So I hit a dead end with that one, and I tried to find someone wiser.
I just said something nice about it.
But I remembered I did meet a man who's a lot wiser than me about 20 years ago. I only met him on the one day, and I only saw him for about half an hour. But he gave me really good advice, which was totally unrelated, but I'm going to use the advice he gave me, and that's what I'm going to say tonight before Martin gives me my trophy. What's that, Paul? How do I know he was a wise man? Well, I know he was a wise man because he worked for the legal profession. So all I'm going to say tonight is no comment. And then we come to first overall, but as Keith was saying, he's an Englishman, so I thought perhaps we won't bother. I'm only joking. Well, we got a really worthy winner. He's the first winner of the challenge, and as I say, a worthy one. Not only winning the Welsh Sprint Hill Climb Championship this year, he also won his class and come 5th overall in the HSA, and then of course tonight the pinnacle of his motorsporting hobby is winning the challenge tonight. But you know, it bothered me all year, how is he getting such an edge? And so tonight I was going to try and explore where he finds his edge, where he finds that extra touch. But it's also worth mentioning that Rob comes out and he competes in an SP, or a standard production car, which the fact that he's won the club challenge, he's won the Welsh Championship, and he's done well on the HSA, set new target times on the HSA as well, goes to prove that the rest of us with modified cars have all wasted our money. It's a really good advert, not only for the club, but for the sport, to show that people can come with any car they've got and they can get a success with it. And so, for that respect, he's done really well, apart from he beat us, but he has done really well. So I wanted to examine the edge, but first of all, I had something else to show you.
That's not how you spell my name.
Wait, I'm going to explain. Now, he's emphasised my point. I spelt his name wrong, I spelt it with a P. And I almost felt a little bit guilty, until I seen a report, the WMC report that Alan did. She also spelt his name wrong. And then I went speed, see, and they spelt his name wrong when he competed in the HSA. So, we're going to get his name right tonight, and I promise we will spell your name correctly tonight. But at the end of the day, we all know him as BTR anyway, as Big Toe Rob. So that's what he'll be awarded with tonight, and with the correct spelling on his name.
Thank you, Paul.
Give us your camera there. So I wanted to try and work out, how has Rob got this edge? Where's he getting this edge from? And I thought, is it because of his height? Is it because of his height? When he's in the car, or when he's and he's walking the track, because he's so tall, He's 7'4" if you didn't know, right? He can see a lot more than what we can. We can only just about see the apex. I reckon he can see way beyond it. So I thought, put it to the test when we're at Kerborough. When we walk the track, I'll find the shortest competitor, so of course I looked for Lloyd. I went over to Lloyd, and I couldn't find him at first, but he was at the wrong side of Gary Morgan's trolley jack. Then I eventually found him, there he was. So of course I had to kneel down next to him. Well, I put the camera over his head and I explained what I wanted him to do, and off he went, and he took a photo at the spot that I wanted him to take to. So there he is, and off he went. So off he went, he took a photo. Go on. This is the photo that he took, which is the approach to the molehill at Kerborough. So of course I had to get Rob now to do the same. I could find Rob he's the other side of the paddock, the other side of Mike Bev's motorhome. I walked across and I see Rob, and I did the same with Rob. So I said, Rob, I had to get his attention, see? Rob, do a picture for us. So I put the camera up like this. Of course I couldn't put it over his neck, so I just tied it to his belt. And he'd done exactly the same photo from the same place, and this is the advantage over everybody else. At first sight, that was until I saw him sat in his car and he was waiting to go out and do his run. His knees are up above the steering wheel, his groin is almost against the steering wheel, he's coupled over. It's got to be a disadvantage to be so tall and driving. So I reckon the one rules the other out. So I thought I need to look at something else. But incidentally, I don't know if any of you were aware of this, Rob is the only competitor in the country that has to have additional safety gear simply because of his height. And this consists of just the one left knee pad, and this is in case it comes into contact with the rear view mirror, you see. A jock strap as well, because it's so close to the steering wheel. And all this is an added expense, especially when you consider he has to order extra long overalls, extra long gloves, size 16 race shoes. He even got an extra long knee pad he had to have specially made. Apparently the only item that he has that isn't specially made is the jock strap. They're available off the shelf in extra small. So I carried on examining where he got this edge from. And Lyndon said to me, well, he said, I think it's because of his composure. He said, the guy's got so much self-confidence, and he said, that's got to go a long way. So I thought, yeah, but you don't get to see someone in the car, do you? You only see him in the paddock. So how self-confident is he? So I went to the only place I could have a look at him in the car, and that's to the most entertaining YouTube channel known to man, which is our club YouTube channel, right? So I went on, let's go and see what he's all about. So I managed to find his winning run, the run that won him the Welsh Championship this year. So you can imagine he's going to be super confident now, isn't he? I'm not going to show you the whole run, because if you want to see it, you'll have to go onto YouTube and like it, won't you? But what you're looking for is his body language to see if he seems like he's got self-confidence. That's what I want you to judge. So the run is only a few seconds because it's right at the end of the run, all right?
Oh shit.
Now, I don't claim to be some kind of body language expert, but it didn't strike me that he was too overly self-confident. So what I've done is I carried on looking for his other runs, right, to see what's going on. Let's have a look at these runs. So as I went through, I was able to establish the reason I think that he's done so well this year, and that's because he's been dedicated to the sport. Every run that you watch him do, the car is on the absolute edge of falling off the road. He's really hard pushing and showing nothing but total driving talent all year, and he deserved to win basically. And now the next run I'm going to show you is Lowton Park, and I was there that day. I know a few of you were as well. And the conditions there were absolutely horrendous, and the reason I'm showing you this run is he scored maximum points, he pushed like a maniac, and well, you'll see, have a look and see what you think for yourself. So, as promised, I told you I would get his name right tonight, I would spell his name right tonight. So, oh, hang on, what have we done? We spelled his name wrong again, look. So Rob Thompson, without the D, DTR, first in the challenge. Well done, Rob. Great. And I'm going to pass you now over to Griff.
You are passing on to me, yeah.
Gladly, Griff.
Okay. It is spelled right on here, yeah. And as much as it pains me being married to an English woman, to have to hand this over to an English man. Congratulations. If very briefly, this was dropped on me earlier by Paul, I'd just like to bring your attention to the fact that all those good-looking people over there, and the two Pauls, have done a lot of very hard work to put this on for you all tonight, and I think they deserve a good round of applause. And the other thing I'd like to say is that, for all the naysayers that had things to say about Paul, I know we're not in a brewery, but you have organised a piss-up.
Okay, and now Rob's turn to say a few words.
Thank you, Paul. I think when I'm an old grumpy man, I'm already quite grumpy when I'm old, I'll look back on 2018 and be really, really pleased with myself, but also ever so grateful to everyone here, all the people who helped to put tonight together, helped with the championship, particularly to Paul and to Gary for being such fabulous competitors all year and really, really making it a hell of a good experience for me to be part of this. There's a few people I'd like to thank, Paul and Gary, of course, the committee for putting on tonight. Keris for letting me play every weekend, despite constant moaning that I haven't finished decorating the house yet, but she still lets me out. I was going to thank Andrew for his friendship and camaraderie, but I was thinking about this, and actually it's a miracle I did so well this year, because between every run this year, and I should have been thinking about the next run, I never get a chance to do that. I take the GoPro out of the camera mount on my shoulder and start watching a little video screen on my back to see where I can find some time. There's always a knock on the window. Can you help me with my tyre pressure? Can you help me do my wheel and that stuff? Can you push the stupid little single seat around somewhere? And it's just, it's endless, it's every event, and it's frankly a miracle that I've done so well. So,
It saved you worrying about your own driving, Rob.
maybe that's it. Keith said earlier how much he loves hill climbing, and I think that's something that I absolutely do. I've been doing this for 3-4 years now, and I couldn't imagine anything I'd rather do in my weekends, particularly with such a good group of people. And, I just absolutely love doing this. So thank you so much for the trophies. These will be proud of place in Keris's newly decorated living room. And, I just so look forward to it all starting again in March next year. So thank you everyone.